thinking like, oh, maybe one day I'll publish this thing, like keep going. Going to get this color today. Why they work this way, they're like, it's very unusual for you can expect to receive when you get to the point that you are working with beta readers on your novel. When I come back, we can sit down and we can talk all things editors and beta readers, and I hope that you can learn from my experience when you get to this point in writing your first book. And if this is the first time you've landed on my channel, hi, nice to meet you. My name is Christina, and if you've been here before, welcome back. Hi, hello, good morning. How are you? I realize I filmed a before clip, an after straight hair clip, and here I am with the curly hair, but there was nothing in between because I didn't vlog. Anyways, here we are. Here's the after curly. I actually like it better curly than straight. I just feel more like myself. But a lot is going on today. It is Canada Day weekend. I am at my parents' house. They have been in Europe for the past 3 weeks. So I've just been enjoying staying at their townhouse by myself. But as a result, it's kind of been like when you're a teenager and your parents go on vacation and then like everything is, this is not really a good angle. Everything is extremely messy. Not an exaggeration. So I'm going to have to clean. They get back this evening from the airport. I'll be picking them up, but I kind of made it a disaster. So mom and dad, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but thank you for letting me stay in your house temporarily. This is going to be a good before and after because I've clearly made it my little home. What I think I'm going to do in honor of Canada Day weekend, I'm going to get a cup of coffee from Tim Hortons, which I do quite often, but this is just an excuse. So we'll get the coffee from Tim Hortons. We will do some cleaning. And then when we are also, I'm going to sit down and open up the feedback from all my beta readers and we're going to talk about it. It's going to be fun. And just hang out with me. And I also can't believe Camp NaNoWRIMO is coming around the corner. So I will be traveling for most of July. I say traveling, but I'll be moving for most of July. So I don't foresee myself doing too much actual Camp NaNoWRIMO, but I think I'm going to pre-film Camp NaNoWRIMO chats. So look out for those because I can't believe it's been a year, or is it more than a year since I posted this video. That was my that was my first participation in NaNoWRIMO, but it was Camp NaNoWRIMO. And what is so cool about that is, well, I didn't win, first of all, but it kick-started the draft that I am now currently getting beta reader feedback on. So if you're participating, good luck. And if you're participating with thinking like, oh, maybe one day I'll publish this thing, like keep going. Even if you don't reach your goal, it's so fun to just be a part of the community and see what everyone's up to while also writing. And it creates momentum on your book. I think it's awesome. And I think it's so cool to look back and see that vlog. I will tell you what though, there's one point in that vlog where I say, I still don't know if this book is a thriller or a romance. Guess what? We're still stuck there. It's apparent in the beta reader feedback, but we'll talk about that later. First, let's go get coffee and I will see you soon. We got the coffee and I thought I would drink the coffee and procrastinate a little bit on the cleaning and kind of catch you up to speed on my editing timeline because it's about a bit of a mess. So what happened? I got very ambitious and I booked a date for a copy editor. And I had extended that date for a month. And then I had sent the copy editor like the first 8 chapters of my book because I was still working on the first round of developmental edits, or we can call it like first pass. The cat is going crazy. Or we can call it like first pass of an alpha reader. Like I got these amazing edits the first time anyone ever set eyes on my manuscript. And I was like, oh, I really want to address these developmental edits before I send it to a copy editor. So I was trying to rush those and I was sending my manuscript in chapters at a time. But the company, and I can understand why they work this way, they're like, it's very unusual for us to receive chapters at a time because it's backing up other projects. So I just kind of kept extending that deadline until I couldn't anymore. And I really, really rushed this next draft. And then I sent it to the copy editor. I got the copy edits back, but copy edits are just like, they're fine tuning some things. They're putting a comma here or a period here, changing the spacing, changing the wording, They're not looking for plot holes. So I got that done, you know, they made it sound nicer. But then after I got that done, because I messed up my timeline and hired them too early, I also got 3 more beta readers. And I think I will make an entirely different video on how much I spent on editors, because I always loved watching those. And I would like to make one of those on my own to look back on. So I got 3 beta readers slash some of them are former developmental editors or also developmental editors, so it really felt like what I think I know to be a developmental edit. I got 3 beta readers paid. I got their feedback. Oh, it was so interesting. So stick around. Let's clean. And then when we get back, we're going to sit down. I'm going to open my computer and I'm going to kind of just go through some of their feedback and share the feedback I got about my story without giving any spoilers, of course. So cheers. Here's a Tim Hortons mug. Yay. And I will see you soon.
Last night you caught my eye, so fly, oh my, I've been thinking about you all night. Can't get you off my mind. I'm out on deep water. It's too late, I've crossed the border. I'm bitten hard by Cupid, babe. Hurry, I need to be saved. Hurry with all to be saved. Hurry with all the cliches. Sunny days, you and me.
Okay, so I thought it would be fun if we could just start with reader reports. This will give you a sense of what type of questions beta readers are asking, what general type of feedback, no spoilers included in my own work, that you can expect to receive when you get to the point that you are working with beta readers on your novel. So let's jump in. I'm super excited. Put comments in line in your actual manuscript, like the full, however, 200 pages. They will comment and react as they go. But they will quite often write a reader report. And obviously, we're not going to go through my manuscript, but I wanted to share some of the type of feedback that I got and that I could change. So this person, for overall impressions, they found the book very interesting. They wanted to figure out what happened to Mona, what this certain kind of artifact was, and they said that the romance was really heartwarming, but I have been getting mixed feedback on that, so that may just be a matter of opinion. Their main issue with the book is that it leaves some loose threads in the end, and that is definitely true. I plan to make this part of a series, but I would still like the ending of the first book to be somewhat satisfying. The next thing they commented on was magic, lore, and world building. This was a very common thread of feedback where all my readers said that they weren't sure if this book even had magical elements in it, as a scene with magic did not appear until about 75% through the manuscript. So what I'm thinking about doing instead to fix that is putting a prologue at the beginning of the book that already introduces you to some magic, already sparks your curiosity. Plot and plot holes. Let's see. There's this one character where a pretty significant thing happens to her, and then I kind of glossed over it and forgot about it for the rest of the book. And there's lots of questions as to why does my main character care so much about this and why did this happen? So that definitely needs some fine tuning. Pacing and flow. They said the first half felt a bit slow, but other than that, there was always something going on to keep them reading. I will say I feel like I possibly have too many subplots. Characters and characterization. My main character, I got very consistent feedback that she can come off as excessively spoiled and manipulative. That was not my intent, so I am definitely going to write her to be a bit more likable, a bit more sympathetic, as I actually want the reader to root for my character. And then for the love interest, this beta reader says that he is perfect and perfect for my main character, and that she would like to see him more in the book. But I did get mixed feedback on him. I got feedback from a different reader who said she's not really a fan of him doesn't like generally, just in general, not a fan of him. They want to know how certain side characters related to other side characters. Writing style, they said, I don't have much to comment on. It flowed nicely. Found your descriptions great. However, some of the paragraphs are too long. Another reader said this as well. She was mentioning that it could be discouraging visually, so it's important to include that blank, like white space, so it's not as fatiguing looking at the page. Okay, let's go on to beta reader number 2. The questions that she answered in her reader report are a little bit different, but if there's any similarities or differences in opinion, we can talk about that as well. One of the questions she asked was, did the first chapter hold my interest? I love this question. Why or why not? She is saying that my main character is talking a little bit too much about the male lead and that she wanted to know her as a character before diving into talking about a boy, and to give her more depth. There's general feedback on the opening scene that Mia is coming off rather spoiled and her expectations of her circumstances are a little bit ridiculous. Question number 2, could I relate to any of the characters? Why or why not? She says she thinks there's room in the beginning to be more descriptive with the friendship between Luca and Mia, as we don't get much backstory until later. So again, I can probably change the ordering and the pacing around. Didn't like Luca, as she felt he seemed pretty disinterested. So again, totally different than the opinion of the last report. So if this happens to you when you're getting beta readers, if you see something that is consistent, it's probably a good sign that you should change it. But if you have something that have mixed reports, I think it's a matter of opinion and you need to trust your own judgment for your story. Did anything in the story confuse me or frustrate me? She said she would have liked more character emotion to be detailed. Detailing out these sensations like a fluttering stomach or a weight on their chest helps readers ground themselves in the character. You could also detail out their thoughts a bit more. What does a character think about certain plot events? Expanding on those 2 elements helps the reader connect smoother and empathize. And then she said she detailed moments in the manuscript that she would have loved to see these, but recommends going to the high intensity moments where the characters would be feeling something and seeing if you can bulk up their reactions a bit more. Okay, final beta reader reports. We'll go over her questions, some general feedback, and see if you can get ideas for questions to ask your beta readers, or just a general sense of what type of feedback you will get from when you decide to have eyes on your manuscript. Does the story begin with an exciting hook, creating a desire to read more? She said yes, she thinks it did. She wasn't sure what to expect, but it had a great hook. She liked that I mentioned Luca at the very beginning, as it was a great way to keep the reader interested until I got to the magic. She said, does the manuscript begin in the right place? This is something I've been asking myself a lot lately. I don't think it does. She said I should have introduced a different character in the beginning, or maybe hinted at magic. So that's definitely something that is consistent. And then for characters, are the characters compelling, sympathetic, or someone you can root for? She said, I don't know if Mia is supposed to be 100% likable, but I think she is easy to relate and to root for. However, she makes some choices that make her seem a little too selfish. Again, I will be digging deep and doing some character reworking on Mia. Okay, so I hope that was useful. I hope through hearing some of the feedback I got, some of the questions that my beta reader just answered, that will help you when you get to that part in your project where you are working with beta readers. And if you haven't yet, I highly recommend that you go and watch this video, as it's going to go over more in depth about beta readers, what they are, even though this video made it pretty clear, but where you can find them, how you can find them, and how to work with them. So if you are like me and you like to plan ahead for self-publishing your first book, check that out, and I will see you in the next video.